I tried to keep a cool head, but my God, our chances of winning the playoffs are slim if we play anywhere near like what we did today. First and foremost, congratulations to Oxford. That result confirms their survival in the Championship, and the scoreline didn't flatter you. It was deserved. You were the team that clearly wanted it a lot more on the day, and I'm kind of not surprised by that, considering what was at stake for Oxford, because that game for them was absolutely pivotal, and it's paid off for them. They've stayed in the Championship, and you can talk about who's up for manager of the season. For me, Gary Rowett's got to be in that conversation. When you look at Oxford, when you look at the budget that he would have had to work with, it's probably the smallest budget he would have had to work with personally as a manager. When you look at Derby, you look at Millwall, you look at Birmingham, Stoke, of all the clubs he's been at, that's probably the smallest budget and the weakest squad on paper he's got to work with, and he's managed to get them safe in the Championship. That is an incredible effort. For me, Gary Rowett's done one of the best jobs this season, so congratulations to Oxford, much deserved, and hopefully we're not playing in the league next season, but we'll play like we did today in the playoffs, and we almost certainly will be. From Sunderland's point of view, I felt sorry for every fan that went down to see that. Truthfully, I think I missed the opening 2 minutes, and then with about 5 minutes to go, I switched over to the Borough game to see if they could win, which says a lot about the state of things. That was utterly turgid from start to finish. I feel like Sunderland, obviously it's a case where Sunderland had more of the ball, and again, it's a classic example of having possession doesn't do very much for you, does it? We did next to nothing with it. I think the best effort I can remember us having was probably a bicycle kick attempt from Enzo Lefebvre, and by that point Oxford had a 2-0 lead to protect and defended it relatively comfortably, I would say. The first goal, it's a good header, to be honest, but it's a very good header. It's a good header, but I still feel like one of Mefmo9 should be getting to that. And then the second goal, and you've got to blame Patterson to an extent for that, because he's handled the ball. For me, that's really poor. But at the same time, why has Hellick got that much space to aim for a simple tap in as well? Yes, okay, going forward, we've definitely got our issues at the moment, but I think we need to start looking at the fact that's 4 games in a row without a clean sheet. And no, I'm not going to stop going on about it. If you don't like it, tough luck. To me, Burnley have proven this season how big they are. So in tight games, you need to be able to be good defensively. And as soon as Oxford went 1-0 up, I said that's going to play right into their hands, because that means that they can just flood their box, they can protect it, and they looked more threatening on the break than what we did with more of the ball at our disposal. So to be honest, no, again, Oxford absolutely deserved to win, and the scoreline wasn't unfair either. I think it was absolutely justified. And I think a lot of the players have got to look at themselves today after that. That's almost as bad as what the Coventry game was, in my honest opinion. And I was at Coventry, and I think we got completely outworked, outfought, outbattled, whatever you want to say it. And for me, the only reason it probably wasn't more than 2-0 was because Oxford aren't as good as Coventry. That's the main thing from that perspective, as far as I'm concerned. And don't get me wrong, I understood how big the game was for Oxford, and I'm not surprised that Oxford showed a bit more guile and urgency and intensity than us. I don't excuse. I can't even talk. That sums up our performance. But I don't excuse a lack of hunger. And again, to be clear, I'm not saying the players didn't try, because yes, that is an easy thing to say. But if you look at what percentage we probably played at today compared to what Oxford played at, I'd be very surprised if we played more than 50-60% of our capacity today. I think, like I said, from start to finish, Oxford, you could tell, were just hungrier to the ball. When they were intercepting the ball, they did it with aggression, they did it with intensity, purpose, and I think that we were just kind of going through the motions. And to be totally honest, we probably have been for a few weeks now. At least in the last few weeks, you kind of had the, not excuse, but you had the factor of we've had a bit of a rotated team, although I still believe even what we've got, we shouldn't really be losing 4 games on the spin. And while I'm still trying to be level-headed, and the playoffs are still, I'm hoping, are going to be a completely different animal, because you've got to look at it. Sheffield United won last night, but prior to that they lost 4 and 5. No one can tell me that's good form either. Bristol City, Coventry, Millwall, Blackburn, Borough, whoever it is, nobody from 5th downwards is consistent. But for me, I just think a lot of the players' application today was atrocious and didn't want it anywhere near to the level that Oxford did. And when I say want it, what I mean is Burnley at home levels of want it this season, because that game was an example of how we were threatening with the ball when we were going forward, but also at the same time without the ball, what we were doing was we wanted it. We really wanted it. We really wanted nearly 100% at it to try and make sure. Or even if you look at the game against Oxford earlier in the season, where that game was a game where we showcased our quality that day, and today we were just absolutely turgid. So yeah, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Like literally, I'm actually surprised that I've managed to get near 5 minutes of this. And if you're still watching, then fair enough, good for you. But yeah, look, we've got one more home game left until the playoffs. But if we don't, but you better. I nearly swore there. The players better pull their finger out over the last however many games, because that today was not acceptable to the fans who travelled down that far to go and see it. We need to start being a bit less blunt in attack, and I want to start keeping clean sheets again. I know it's easier said than done, but that doesn't mean we can't want it to be the case. Anyway, guys, look, I'll love you and leave you there. If you're watching the video and you're regular sub and you think I've earned it from you, then just hit the sub button. All you got to do is just have an account, hit the sub button. It just takes 1 second. Like and respectfully comment and share the video around. And yeah, one more game until the playoffs. Let's see if the performance is a lot better than what we bothered to serve up today. Take care to everyone travelling back from Oxford, and once again to Oxford fans, congratulations on staying up. Your win was deserved today, and Gary Rowett's done a hell of a job. Hopefully we won't see you in the league next season, but we'll see. Take care everyone, stay safe, and see you later.